Start with our flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Move on to item B. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting agenda?
I'll motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for Ginny Skinner, the clerical. She was a clerical for the maintenance department for 14 and a half years. Okay, thank you. Pearl, do we have any blue cards? Item C? Okay, and then we'll move on to item D, special presentation of the board. We'll start with the staff recognition of 25 plus years. We could, we'll all meet out in the front. And then folks, afterwards, there'll be cake in the back and pictures, so you don't have to immediately leave. I love cake. That's why I do this job.
Do we have to?
Can we start at 25 or 30? Doesn't it matter to you?
Okay, we are going to start with our staff who have been with us for 30 years, and it's a great honor to recognize these 5 staff members. First, we have Paul Brissette, who I do not believe is here tonight, but Paul has been with us for 30 years. Martha Karn, special education teacher here at the high school.
Actually 31.
31. We have Stephen Perry, who has been with us for 30 years. Amy House-Corthus. No, Amy? And Missy Statz, art teacher up here at the high school. And You're welcome. Thank you. Now we have for 25 years, we have Amy Albany, school psychologist. Is it more than that? It's more than that overall. Oh, yes. You've been. Jay Adams, physical education teacher. I don't know some of these people.
So I have to say this while you shake your hands. In a different lifetime, I was a teacher and baseball coach. And I had the privilege of coaching baseball against Jay. He was at Central Square. Congratulations. And I never saw someone toss out of the game and strike someone for his player as much as Jay. I said, that guy's got passion up there. Little did I ever know, I'd be working with him someday. It was a great time. That was like 18 years ago, man. It was like 23 years ago.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Kelly Benjamin has been with us for 25 years. I do not believe she is here. Joan Blundell. Joanna Boychuk. Bruce Chambers, who, no Bruce? Okay, Bruce Chambers. Christine Clement. Congratulations. Trina Eef. Did you finish the book yet? Cheryl Harrell. There she is. I thought I saw her. Melanie Hahn. Not with us. Kelly King. Lorelei Lacey. I saw her. There she is. I was going to say, I saw her taking pictures. I don't know if she made it in. Henry Landers, who's not with us. Laura McAfee. Catherine McGowan is here. Congratulations. Debbie Morgan. Kimberly Murphy. Maureen Ladd. I think that's a violation. Rachel Riggs. That's a lot of clicks. That's a lot of clicks. And last but not least, Lisa Tolson, who is not with us tonight. Thank you for all of the years of dedication and service, and for most of you, many more. Many more. There is cake over here. Help yourselves.
All right, Eric.
Okay, if we could get everybody back, and everybody is more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting
That's right, and eat cake.
and eat cake too.
We're gonna be done by then.
Dean, we back on?
We're gonna be done.
We're on.
We're on.
Live.
Okay, to finish item D.
Casey's not back yet.
Oh,
Did Casey get here yet?
yes,
She's just hugging
You
over
logged
there.
her in?
Yes, she's hugging.
she's 6 hugs behind.
Perfect.
There's more that do.
Oh, she's got to get her picture taken. All right, well, we'll get started with, without her. We'll go on to item D, number 2, fund balance presentation by Maureen. Yay.
I'm like going, do I have anything on me? Maroon frosting on me, yeah. All right, tonight, we're back on track. So July 1 to June 30th are our years, and the auditors were in August, and we pretty much are at our year end as far as knowing where we are. So our first course of action is to talk about fund balance. Oh, you know, it's. So it is a requirement, you get this every, when you take your fiscal trainings or whatever, that we discuss our fund balance, our reserve plans, and short and long-term goals with regards to fund balance. What it is basically the difference between your assets and your liability. On a regular corporation, this would really be your income. In districts in governmental accounting, it's called fund balance, and there's different categories of fund balance that are available to municipalities and governments. It's very important to talk about your fund balance and understand your fund balance. Basically, because this is where we get any type of a cushion that we might want to have for unforeseen expenditures, revenue shortfalls, state aid shortfalls. It helps ensure we have adequate cash flow. It assists with, obviously, the calculation of the district levy if we can apply fund balance towards the outgoing year. Reduces borrowing and interest costs, and it definitely improves our credit rating if we have good fund balance. That's always a point of, what you want to say, discussion with like school boards and ASBO and that type of stuff, because the higher your fund balance, the better your credit rating, even though they don't want your fund balance to be over certain amounts. It's always a discussion, too, on how much fund balance is allowed. I just like to put this up here because for a lot of governments that are under the Government Finance Officers Association, they're subject to a minimum of their unassigned fund balance to be approximately 2 months operating expenses. So for us, that would mean, if you look at the calculation, about $15.5 million. Our rules for unassigned fund balance is a limit of 4%, which is $3.9 million. And that's always an item that's up for discussion every year to have that increased. I don't know if it's on again this year for the school boards voting or not. Is that one of the items? It's always seems to be there, and it never gets anywhere.
I haven't reviewed it yet.
Yeah. So we use fund balance to plan going forward. It helps us to maximize our long-term and short-term goals. Unassigned fund balance is the operating capital, like I just said. It's typically supposed to be 4% of the following year's budget. Committed fund balance are basically sources of revenue that are being applied towards next year. And anything that's added into a restricted fund or a reserve fund is our long-term planning money. There's quite a few different reserves, and they're formed differently. So there's reserves that are authorized for school districts that are under education law, and they all have some different rules. In this group of reserves that are available, we do have money in a tax certiorari reserve, which can be used for people who fight their assessments and we lose. So we can always take money out of there for assessments that aren't realized after the taxes are levied. The other set of fund balances that are available, or reserves that are available, are these ones. And these are under the general municipal laws. These are easier for school districts to use, and most of them can be done by board approval, in and out funds. The money that we currently have in reserve balances is on here. We have EBLAR, which can be used for basically the, going forward, the service and termination awards that that are contractually due to employees when they retire. The retirement contribution reserves, there's different rules for TRS and ERS retirement funds, but those monies we can use towards increases in our retirement balances that are charged to us every year. And the workers' compensation reserve is the same. We can use it towards our worker compensation balances. So we have all those reserves currently. So this year, these are not totally audited, but pretty close to our estimates of where our year end of June 24 is going to be. And as you can see, if you go to the total fund balance on the bottom, we're almost exactly the same. We really did, I'll tell you next month when I have that presentation, but I think we spent 90 million and we brought in 90 million. We were pretty close to even this year. So we didn't really gain any fund balance, but it has been moved around a little bit. I just went over the reserves that are on the top part. Because our encumbrances are down from last year and our non-spendable is down, it makes, and we appropriated the same amount, the 3 million to this year's budget that we're in now, it makes our unassigned balance go up a little bit. And this is just our, through the last 5 years of what our unassigned balance has been, over 4%. We're right around that line. Back in 20, we intentionally kept that there because we were gonna lose all that state aid. But we've been a little over and under and just hovering around the 4% the last 4 years. So I like to show you the reserves that, this is our, what do you want to say, our last 10 years. Back in 15, 16, we really were underfunded in any type of reserve fund balances. We've started to make increases in the reserves, and we're at a decent spot. We're down a little bit, obviously, because we kept so much being proactive about the revenue shortfalls that were estimated back in 21. But if you look at other districts, and I just, right here, I'm pulling our county, we are the second column. So our reserves and fund balances compared to our operating capital, which is the orange line, is obviously much less than a lot of our districts. The ones that are very high, Mexico and Oswego, are because they also have a reserve for the nuclear plants that we don't have associated with our ability to reserve under. So we are in no way over-reserved, and our fund balance is no way higher than most other districts. So we are planning to use, just a little background, we have been using fund balance mostly against tax levy increases. 21-22, we had 0 in 22-23, and 23-24, and this year, 24-25, we did not go to the cap. And we actually put 3 million of capital reserve towards our capital project, the last one that we had. And we have put some reserves, some fund balance into reserves. And so our reserves have been increasing. And because we don't know what the future holds, and right now, the foundation aid is being readdressed and recalculated, we are recommended that we just sit where we are and not put any of our unappropriated fund balance into reserve until we know more of what's going to happen to us in the next couple of years. So it'll help us with all of our short-term goals, but by not moving anything to the reserve funds, we're not holding it for long-term. We're looking at it for more short-term.
And I think it's important to point out that people at home are here know there's so many unknowns right now. I jotted down some just to quickly share. We've got the electric bus mandate. They keep saying that they're going to possibly change the first deadline, but if they don't change the second deadline, it doesn't matter if they change the first deadline, allowing us to, go beyond 2027 buying diesel buses. But if they're not going to change to 2035, where you have to make the entire fleet electric, that does us no good, a district our size. And these are conversations that I have with John Pierce daily and with Maureen to try to figure out, we have a plan where we take 6 big buses and we take, 3 small buses. We've got vans and whatnot. All of that has to be. So that's one thing. Another thing right now is we don't know what Governor Hochul is going to do with the potential cell phone ban that it looks like it will come into effect as early as February. And they're talking about it could be a cost coming with that we're not going to get any more money. We're not going to get any more money for administrators to sift through hundreds of more cell phone referrals. Districts are talking about these yonder pouches that's $30 each. The equivalent to us is $60,000 for the high school and the middle school to be able to do that yearly. And then every other unfunded mandate that comes across from Albany, the state education department, requiring us to do things but not giving us any money. Then there's other things that are actually good things where we have, Jamie Grimshaw was saying we had more students come out for sports in this fall than we've ever had, not just in his short tenure here, but when James Dranzak was here, and then when Mike was here prior to that. So that's a good sign. Kids are connected. They want to play sports. But again, it's also being able to have that cushion where you didn't budget for, right? But you're able to still do those things. There's always going to be those unforeseen things, the tragedies that take place with staff members where they have to be out for a year with medical issues, the cost of hiring another administrator or another teacher while they're out and still getting paid because they have sick days. So there's so many things and then there's things that we want to do. We want to improve our sports facilities. We know that. We know that the district years ago went quite some time without going to capital projects. So we're trying to not only make all of our buildings up to speed, which we're doing this year with Cole operating out of CSI, but we also want to be able to have more than one operational baseball field. We want to be able to have, space that it's not competing for youth lacrosse and youth basketball, which we want to be able to provide them with more opportunities. We're paying more money now in overtime pay on Sundays. We're opening up our buildings. So I'm very happy. Youth sports, youth basketball is very flexible to be able to take the Sundays. That's overtime pay for our custodians. But at the end of the day, a school district is the hub for the community. And if we're not able to meet the needs of our students, but also the community, then we're in a bad spot. So when I sit down with Maureen and we look at fund balance being over 4%, we'll get that letter reprimanding us. We sat down with Steve. We're fine with that letter, like most of the school districts are, because in the real world, their fund balances of private institutions go far higher than 4%. Thank you.
Any questions? Everybody's all set. Thank you.
Well, if I could, Maureen, I just want to thank you for all your hard work and your staff. It's a reflection of your dedication to the district and how we're really never in trouble. So
Happy 25 years.
Happy 25 years. Thank you so much. Okay, if we could, we'll move on to item E. Can I get a motion for item E? And it's
Motion. Dave's motioning, I'll second.
Any discussion? Did your question get answered? Okay. All right, being no discussion, all those in favor? And that passes. On to item F, consent agenda. Can I get a motion for F in its entirety?
All motion?
Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor? On to item G, student board rep report. Mateo.
Okay. So first off, the Central Square Music Boosters are looking for people interested in purchasing mums this fall at Last Nicky's Nursery in Hastings. By purchasing them there and mentioning their organization, Last Nicky's Nursery will donate a portion to the cost of the Central Square Music Boosters. This fundraiser continues until September 26th. Next, Red Hawk Rally is approaching September 20th, 4:30 to 6 p.m. And student government members like myself are looking for people interested in participating. If you or someone you know would like to represent a local business, sport, club, or etc. that you are involved in, please let me know and I can give you the link for more information on how to join. In addition to the Red Hawk Rally, Homecoming is also coming up Friday, September 20th again. Student government has been working hard and planning for a perfect night with fun activities, as well as the football team for a great game. Ms. Shantz was kind enough to give me flyers to hand out to all of you as a reminder to come show your school spirit, if you want to take one and pass it around. And then lastly, today we had our student government meeting and we have decided to dedicate one of our further meetings to the public phone forum. And in this meeting, we will discuss how we plan on getting as many members in our community involved and the topics of discussion at that meeting. And that's all from me today.
Okay. Any board members like to report out? I'll go ahead and go. In your packet, I have the draft board retreat. If you could take a look at it. It is a draft, so we can change it, we can add to it, we can, whatever you'd like to do, it's kind of our retreat. We are going to have, as somebody that's going to be attending, is Bethany as part of the meeting, so she'll be there along with Tom. So if you could take a look at it and see, I would appreciate that. Let me know. I've also included, I had Pearl dig up our vision statement, the Board of Education vision statement, so we can talk about approving that or taking a look at that, so, as part of it, so. Any questions? Okay, Tom, it's all yours.
Bethany did say, Steve, if there are any specific, like, legal questions that board members are, if you want to just, she can answer them on the spot, but if we want to give her some advance notice, she can come with information about that part. She's more than happy to do that. All right, my part. It was a great first home football game. It was very well attended. Carthage is a phenomenal team this year, but I think our athletes did a great job. It was great seeing so many staff members there as well. Mateo mentioned the forum for cell phones, so I had the opportunity to meet with several of our leadership student government students today with Mrs. Shantz, and they all were able to kind of share their opinions about different things, which was always great to hear from students directly. We've narrowed it down, and it's going to be blasted out right after this meeting. I'm going to hit send. I've already sent a letter to the staff with the attachment of the parent letter, and it says September 30th from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. right here in this space in the cafeteria. We'll have the forum. Really cool. Matt Stevens, graduate 2023. He still does a lot of stuff. He's a sophomore, I believe, sophomore at Lemoyne College, and he's also part of an organization called Log Off, and it just has about students with device time and whatnot. But he's got a really great presentation. He'll be able to do it in 15 minutes. He sent me all the slides. It's very well done with excellent data. And whether people come to the meeting and they think, I want to ban cell phones completely, or people that say there shouldn't be a ban, or people that should be like, there should be some kind of like middle ground, I think they're all going to like the information that he presents. And it's just kudos to Matt, who's a lifelong learner, and I love it when kids graduate from here and they still want to come back and play a key role in this community. So that is the 30th. As I alluded to earlier, it does look like it could very well potential Governor Hochul putting a ban. We don't really have any details. What I'm thinking that and other superintendents are in agreement is that it's going to be a ban, but it will be left up to the individual school boards on how you want each district's ban to look. And so if that is the case, then the feedback and whatnot that we get from that day will be even more valuable. It'll be how we've always done a community forum where there's going to be circle tables. We'll have students at each table, some teachers and admin at each table, support staff, parents. And it's going to be great. It's going to be great dialogue. There's going to be targeted areas that the students are going to help us come up with when they have their student government meeting. It's just focus points that we could look at. So that's exciting. There probably will be media there because whenever I put a blast out to all parents, they sign up for those. And so I would not be surprised if we're not on the news. And here's the deal. At the end of the day, I'm glad because I want people to see students like Mateo. He did a great job today articulating his message on what he thought, and other students did as well. And it just shows that we're a school community, that people can disagree with each other, but done in the right way, always focused on what's best for students. I always welcome, situations like that. And I think that the outcome will be good. A couple other things. I want to thank all of the custodians for their amazing effort making all of our buildings look so phenomenal during over the summer, especially during a capital project, which is a reoccurring theme. They do amazing work, and it's even harder because it's capital project time. Our teachers, support staff, our bus drivers, our clerical, literally everybody, our building admin, district admin. It was, again, all hands on deck, and I'm knocking on wood, but I keep hearing, not only from staff, but parents saying that this was probably the smoothest that we've had. There's always some bus hiccups here and there, but I'm really, really, really happy. And John Pierce and Harry Farrell and all of the transportation have done a wonderful job. Gavin Murphy is a student that graduated, 3 years ago now? 2 years ago? And he works part-time down there as well. So I had a call for John, and it's just always so cool to see him pick the phone up. He was our student board rep 3 years. Wasn't he student board rep? Student government. He was student government. Right, correct. And he was just very involved, and now he works for us. When I was a sophomore in college, I wasn't working a part-time job like that. He's actually working. So my hat's off to him, and that's awesome. I did. You want to know what I did? My job? There was a bus that would drive people around that were afraid at Lemoyne College, so that was my job. I drove the bus at night. It was the only job that Division I athletes were allowed to have because you couldn't make more than a certain amount of money. So I drove, not a bus, a van. And so if there were girls or boys that were afraid navigating around, I would drive them. It was the best job I ever had. Besides this one, of course. Pearl, you got to stop me when I get going like that. Yes. And I will end on that note. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. So many things going through my head right now, but we'll just leave it at that. Short bus. If I could, we'll move on to item H1, approval of overnight student trips. Got to get a motion for that?
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? And then item H2, approval of board resolution for educational law 2-D opt-in. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
And a second?
I'll
Any-
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? And item I, adjournment.
Motion.
There we go, fellows. Any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to thank the audience members for sticking it out.
Yes.
Testament to all of you.
All those in favor?
Told you, 6:47. Be out of here before 10 out. There you go, Pearl. Have a lovely.